Here are the most popular stop loss mistakes and misconceptions. 1. Move your stop loss to break even as soon as possible. Moving a stop loss to the point of your entry, also known as break even, is a great amateur mistake when done with the wrong intentions. The big boys know where new traders get into their positions and when they move their stop loss to break even. This makes stop loss hunting very easy. 2. Not using a stop loss gives you flexibility and avoids stop loss hunting. Not using a stop loss is one of the worst things you can do. It means that you risk being wiped out in one single trade, or at least lose so much money that it cancels out months of good and consistent trading. Furthermore, it's impossible to use a sound money and position sizing strategy if you don't use a stop loss order. 3. Use FX and constant stop loss. You should never place a stop loss based on some random amount of pips. This is not a proper stop loss placement, and it's definitely not how professional traders place their stop loss orders. Financial markets are constantly changing. The volatility changes, and also how price reacts to certain conditions changes a lot. Traders, on the other hand, use a constant approach when it comes to placing stop loss orders, or even use the same stop loss approach across different financial instruments or time frames. Being a trader means adapting to changing market conditions. That's why we place our stop loss beyond the last swing on the other side of our position. Professional traders enter with fixed risk per trade, not fixed stop loss and pips. We will learn more about this technique in the risk management module. 4. Setting the stop loss later. You should know where your stop loss is going to be before you open a trade. The same goes for your entry and target. Because as soon as the trade is live and you are seeing your P&L fluctuate, you will find every single reason to stay in the market. The benefit of determining your stop loss before you open a trade is that it removes any emotions from the decision, because you haven't yet risked any of your capital. Moreover, if you don't have a stop loss and the market starts moving against you, there is a high likelihood that you will close your position out of fear, without considering whether your trade idea has actually been invalidated. So always decide where your stop loss is going to be before you open a position. 5. Widening the stop loss as price approaches it. Once the stop loss is set, don't widen it. You have already made your decision. If the market goes against you and your stop loss is hit, analyze your trade and see what you've done wrong. Stop loss orders are crucial to managing risk, because once we determine the stop loss placement, we can then determine our position size on the trade, and then we know ahead of time the cost and risk of the trade. As a part of our trading plan, stops are the cost of doing business as a trader. They are also there to force us to get out if we are wrong on a trade, despite our emotional bias. 6. Setting your stop loss at zones of liquidity. Don't place your stop loss in really obvious places. Avoid placing your stop loss directly above or below key swing highs or lows, because there is a good chance the market will trade through them before reversing. Give it some breathing room by leaving some space between your stop loss and the swing high or low. The stop loss order is not only completely misunderstood, but also has a much worse reputation than it should have. Here are 4 of the main reasons why a stop loss should be highly respected by any trader and a trade should not be entered without one. First, it helps you determine the position size, defines the worst case scenario, defines the risk to reward ratio, and protects your profits. A properly placed stop loss is truly the starting point of a successful trade. Traders who do not focus on stop loss placement first, or put a lot of importance on doing it right, are doomed to fail and blow out their accounts.